Hey guys, how you doing? It's been a few weeks since I did a video. Just had, stuff going on. Sometimes you just like think, oh, I'm gonna do a video, then I get like, oh, I'm tired, or I had some cleaning to do, or things like that. Things happen. And then yesterday I wasn't feeling great, so I was like, let's do something Saturday. But I'm here. I am here now. I think the last thing we did was the Chucky review that Anna joined me for, so that was cool. There's this. I started recording and this bug flew in here, and I was trying to figure out where the hell it went, but I don't know where it went now. Maybe it'll pop up again. Who knows? Hard to say. But anyway, I thought I'd do a couple things here today. I watched a few movies, horror movies recently. One last night, one last week. And I thought I would give a little review on that. I am going to do a Scream ranking video as well today. And then that way that'll get me leading into probably the pitches for next week. I found like I'm having trouble at least getting started on those pitches just because it's like, they had their flaws, but overall the Scream movies were pretty, coherent as far as like their story, I feel. So I think it's like, when you go to like Halloween or Friday the 13th and stuff like that, and even Nightmare a little bit, there's stuff where stuff kind of goes off the rails and you're kind of like, well, that's kind of an interesting and challenge to follow that up. But whereas like most of the Scream movies, it's pretty straightforward what's going on. They kind of all, blend together pretty well. So I think that's more the challenge. But I'm going to try maybe going at it from a different take. I also would think about Candyman as well. Doing maybe a ranking video for that. Even though I've never actually seen the third one, but I heard it was horrible. So I'll just make it the last one, and that'll be good. And that's all I have to say about that. But I might try to do a pitch for that as well, just to see how they could have gone with it for where it went. So maybe we'll get a whole bunch of videos tonight. Maybe you will. Maybe you will. Maybe you get nothing. Anyway, I'll talk about the movie I watched last night first, and then I am looking at possibly. I saw a thing where you can do a podcast thing, so I'm going to see if I can play with that a little bit, and I might talk about some other things that I've been watching or things going on. And bump the desk with my knee. Felt great. So anyway, the movie I watched last night was called Unhuman or something like that. Okay, it was from Blumhouse Television, which is just Blumhouse Productions and all that. They put out a lot of stuff. Some stuff good, and then there's some stuff not so good. Now, this movie started off okay. It's funny, though, because I immediately saw the girl from I Know You Did Last Summer that was the killer. And I was like, oh, God. Oh, God, she's back. She wasn't as annoying in this one, so I'll give her credit. It's really not the actress's fault. It was just that show was just so bad. My rant on this one isn't as bad. Like I said, the first half isn't bad. Like, it's got a little bit of a horror comedy aspect to it. But I feel like they kind of lose the comedy aspect of it halfway through, and then it just becomes, social commentary kind of, and then it's kind of like, I don't want to watch this. Anyway, but I finished it. So a couple people I recognize there as well, if I've seen other things. If you remember in Halloween, the 2018 version, the kind of TMI, the heavyset guy that was friends with the douchey boyfriend, that gets killed, by Michael Myers and stuff. He was in this, but it's funny. He's definitely lost some weight because, I'm looking at him. He sounded the same, but his face is a lot skinnier, so he's definitely lost some weight. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then this guy that was playing the teacher, the gym teacher, he actually was in this movie called Pilgrim that was on Hulu. How they did those Into the Dark ones, and he was really good in that. So I was like, hey, nice to see him. He was pretty entertaining. And the rest of the people I've seen in various things here and there, probably. But those are the ones that stood out to me. So anyway, I say a lot. I'm an guy. Anyway, yeah. Pepsi. All right. So, there I go again. I said this time, not see. So anyway, the way it basically goes, this spoilers, by the way. If you want to watch it, it's on Amazon, Amazon Prime. They have such quality horror films, let me tell you. Anyway, but anyway, the basically plays out like your almost typical zombie thing. They're on a school bus, and then the teacher died from Pilgrim gets attacked right away. I'm like, oh fuck, that guy was entertaining. And then basically, they run out of the bus. A couple people get dragged off. And so you're thinking it's just gonna play out like the normal zombie thing, which was fine. But you have they have all these stereotypical characters. You got the jock, you got the nerd, you got the usual thing. And there's some jokes here and there that I did chuckle at. That I was like, okay, that was kind of funny. But then it got to a point where like the main girl, she says, "Well, we got to go to the bus. Let's see if we can find anybody on the bus." And she goes with the guy from Halloween, and they're kind of like into each other a bit, but they haven't really worked on it. They're talking to each other, and they're about to kiss, and then this she notices the radio's on, so she's trying to get to the radio. And earlier in the thing, when the thing happened, there was this warning about like there's a chemical attack and please stay inside and all that because people are getting crazy and attacking people and biting them and stuff like that. So anyway, she notices that there's a tape there in the tape deck, and then she realizes, hey, it's not here. It's just. But why is there a tape? And then the guy pokes her with a needle with full of green stuff, like she's getting mutagen from the Ninja Turtles or something, and knocks her out and says, I'm sorry. And it turns out that him and his friend, who was kind of this outcast type of guy, hired this basic meth head or something like that to basically wear this weird Cro-Magnon looking mask, so he looked like whatever. He kind of it's funny though, he kind of looked like Alice Cooper a little bit with the mask, but to basically bite the guy's face and make it look real and convincing because they didn't like that teacher. And then it was basically all to go against the popular kids who were bullying them, but then be the saviors by killing all the zombies. And but basically they were drugging them, and that's what made them act like zombies. I guess there's a drug out there now, especially in Philadelphia, what's called Trank or something, where the people are kind of walking around like zombies. Not necessarily biting people, obviously, but it's just kind of weird. But yeah, and then it just got kind of from there. I'm like, wait, no, that doesn't make any sense because their whole plan was to basically thing. But then it's like, well, how would they have gotten away with that anyway? But anyway, yeah. So basically, it's okay, guys, if you're being bullied. Just, it's cool. You should root for those popular kids because they may have more depth to them. Or maybe not. But anyway, yeah, there's a fat kid, heavyset kid, and he was apparently friends with this popular kid who went to fat camp with them, but he's trying to act all cool because he lost weight. And, so there's that whole dynamic and all this other stuff. But, there wasn't a whole lot of depth to the characters. They were basically just caricatures. And then it just, it really devolved from there. And then I was just like, oh, And so then they find out their plan, and then she fights off after being drugged. She kills the meth head guy, and then everybody else who was dragged away by the zombies is basically just in a cage. And they're just going to get more I'm just calling it mutagen. They're basically drugs. But the thing is, it's funny, the one guy, the meth head, had this almost Freddy Krueger claw with the green needles and stuff. So I'm just like, what is he trying to be Freddy Krueger? What the hell? It's almost like the part 3. It's like, oh, let's get high, But yeah, and then it evolved into just craziness. And I guess the main guy gets that stabbed into him. Then he gets all zombie, and then they have this big fight. And then all the women beat the shit out of him. So it's like, oh yeah, I haven't seen this before. Every single woman overpowers him, whether they know how to fight or not. They're just instantly great at fighting. At least the fat guy beats the shit out of him. So at least the heavyset guy got some. I'm trying not to say fat, but he was heavyset. So it's not to insult him. It's just that he was heavyset. That was his character. He slams him like a freaking wrestler. It was kind of cool. So at least he got a moment too. So it wasn't just all yeah, strong women. Which is fine. I like strong women, but it was just one of those kind of tacky moments where it's like every one of us can kick his ass. It's like, okay, whatever. So yeah, obviously they do that, and then everybody is friendly with each other, and then it plays out like a after school special or something with a message. So it's a zombie film with a message, which is fine. But I don't know. It's kind of, I think their message kind of got lost a little bit. Only because it's yeah, you obviously there have been things in real life where people, tragically get bullied and then they act out or they get themselves a gun or something, and then obviously things happen in the real world. Now, obviously, this plan, the stupid thing too was that like the one guy falls out the fucking window, literally breaks his neck, and then because he's on the drugs, he just gets up and starts walking. Like, no, I don't care how strong a drug is, you're not gonna fucking get up like a zombie and start walking. It's like that, it get ridiculous here. But yeah, I think they were trying to go for some kind of commentary, but it wasn't clever, as a lot of Hollywood writers don't know how to write commentary in a subtle way, not like a John Carpenter or a George Romero. Which, yeah, I said, if you Night of the Living Dead was literally about like civil rights stuff, but like when you watch it, you're just watching zombies, so it's like you're not really thinking about that. But if you look at it from a context, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But it's much more of those, oh, that makes sense type of things, as opposed to like, we're beating you over the head with this message just so you know. But at the same time, the message is kind of a mixed signal thing, because it's like, okay, but these guys were bullied, and you see these pauper kids being total pricks to them. So it's kind of a mixed thing, because yeah, you don't want these people to act out and hurt people because they're being bullied, but at the same time, you also shouldn't applaud and just let the bullies get away with it either. There's a whole balance there, but so overall, it was worth a watch. I guess I wasn't feeling good. It was just like, I just watch something I don't have to think about too much. And it was fine. The acting wasn't too bad. It was a decent quality acting. It's not the best acting in the world, but it was solid enough. And then the pilgrim guy pops back up after being bitten. And it's like, okay, that's cool. So he's back, yay! But that guy, like I said, that guy was really entertaining in that pilgrim movie, and I'm like, I want to see more of this guy. So when I saw him, I'm like, hey, that guy. Like he has kind of an Aaron Eckhart look to him. It's not him, but it kind of looks like Aaron Eckhart. Who played Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight. Cool, so that's my review for Unhuman on Amazon Prime. It's about a mediocre horror comedy, but it just, like I said, it loses the commentary halfway through, and then or the comedy part of it halfway through, and then it just kind of devolves. So disappointed, but I wasn't overly surprised. I had no prior knowledge of the film. It was just kind of, this is one of these horror movies I've watched on Amazon, and 90% of the time they're terrible. Or they're just boring. That's something. At least if something's entertaining, then I can be like, oh, well, that was boring. But if it's so boring, it's just like, then it's just a slug to get through. It's like, is this shit over? So yeah, guys, that's my review for that. Remember to like and subscribe, guys. Thanks for our new subscribers, and I will be back with a review for the other movie that I watched last week. Have a good one, guys.